hottest team in the WNBA right now is the Indiana Fever. Kelsey Mitchell has been balling. Lexi Hall has been an X factor, and that was a great chess move, just getting this lineup with chemistry. As for this win streak, though, Caitlin has created 224 points between points scored herself and points assisted. That's almost 45 points per game, and the most by any player ever during a 5-game win.
Guess what? The Indiana Fever's playoff schedule just leaked, and it's about to be Caitlin Clark's biggest test yet. We're talking a matchup against the Connecticut Sun that could make or break their season. But here's the real kicker. Kelsey Mitchell's injury status is up in the air. Will she be ready for the big show? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a second. This rookie is on fire. She's averaging 19.2 points per game and has dished out a mind-blowing 232 assists. That's not just good, it's record-breaking for a rookie. And get this, she's led the Fever to their first playoff appearance since 2016. That's insane. But here's where it gets tricky. The Connecticut Sun have had the Fever's number all season, winning 3 out of 4 games. It's like David versus Goliath out there. But you know what's crazier? There might be a secret weapon that could flip this whole thing upside down. What could it be? You'll have to stick around to find out. Remember that secret weapon I mentioned? It's not just one thing. It's the entire Fever team's transformation. How did they go from underdogs to playoff contenders in just 11 games? The answer might shock you. The Fever have been on an absolute tear lately, winning 8 of their last 11 games. It's like they found a cheat code for success. But what's behind this sudden surge? Let's break it down. First up, we've got to talk about the dynamic duo of Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. These two have been lighting up the scoreboard like it's the 4th of July. Mitchell's been averaging a jaw-dropping 24.9 points per game since the Olympic break. And Clark, she's not just keeping up, she's leading the charge. But here's where it gets really interesting. Clark's not just scoring, she's becoming a defensive puzzle that other teams can't solve. She's getting more patient under pressure, making smarter plays, and basically turning the tables on anyone who tries to shut her down. It's like watching a rookie transform into a veteran right before our eyes. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, didn't you say the Fever were ranked 11th in defensive rating? You're right. But that's where Coach Christy Sides comes in. She's been working some serious magic with the team's defensive strategies and rotations.
Yeah, Kelsey's good. Just when she went down, I stroked out a little bit, and so just made the decision right then. She's going to get ready for Sunday. They did a great job. I'm really proud of our great team. I mean, we compete every day. They compete in every drill against the blue team. That second and third quarter, 30 points, just way too many. Resiliency that our players showed, starting 1-8 and then to have clinched a playoff spot with 7 games remaining.
It's not just about individual players anymore, it's about how the whole team moves together. Coach Sides put it perfectly when she said, "We've gotten punched and we've had to grow up really fast." And boy, have they grown! Each game, each challenge has been like a mini boss battle in a video game. And with every win, they've leveled up. But here's the kicker. This transformation isn't just about stats and strategies. It's about heart. It's about a team that refused to give up, even when the odds were stacked against them. They've taken every setback, every loss, and turned it into fuel for their comeback. You know what's crazy? This whole journey is like something straight out of a movie. We've got the underdog team, the rookie sensation, the seasoned coach, and now they're facing their biggest challenge yet in the playoffs. It's like David versus Goliath, but David's been hitting the gym and taking archery lessons. And let's not forget about Clark's ability to read the game. She's not just playing, she's conducting an orchestra out there. Her court vision is off the chart, and she's making passes that leave defenders scratching their heads. It's like she's got eyes in the back of her head.
She has lived up to expectations, right? I'm looking at her the way I look at LeBron James, right? Just in the women's side of things, and the height that she had, the expectations she had.
Let's start with the rookie, Caitlin Clark Kent. Superwoman, you see what I did there? She was on a tear, and last night was no different. Wings, Fever. Caitlin Clark set to go as she broke the single-season assist record.
She's been playing like a top 5 player in the league. She's been regularly dishing out double-digit assists in that time frame. Teams can no longer blitz her and trap her.
But here's the thing. It's not just about Clark. The entire team has stepped up. They're playing with a confidence we haven't seen from the Fever in years. Every player knows their role, and they're executing it to perfection. It's like watching a well-oiled machine with Clark as the spark plug. Hold up, remember when I said every player knows their role? Well, one of their most crucial players might not even be on the court. The Fever's playoff hopes just took a huge hit, and you're not going to believe who's in the hot seat now. Let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell. This woman has been a force of nature for the Fever, averaging 17.7 points per game and setting the court on fire. But during that final regular season game against the Washington Mystics, Mitchell went down. And just like that, the whole Fever Nation held its breath. Picture this. Mitchell's on the court, she's making moves, and then bam, she's down, and everyone's thinking, oh no, not now. Not right before the playoffs. The next thing you know, she's wearing a knee brace, and fans are losing their minds. Is she out? Is she in? It's like a basketball cliffhanger, and we're all on the edge of our seats. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Mitchell isn't just any player. She's been called one of the league's most underrated stars. This season, she's been clutch, ranking third in the league for those nail-biting last-minute points. She even set a franchise record for consecutive games scoring more than 20 points. That's not just good, that's legendary stuff. So what does this mean for the Fever's playoff chances? It's like trying to fight with one hand tied behind your back. Mitchell's been a key part of their offensive strategy, especially when they're up against tough teams like the Connecticut Sun. Without her, it's like missing a piece of the puzzle right when you're about to finish it. But wait, there's a twist. The Fever's player development coach, Jared Simpson, dropped a bombshell. He said Mitchell was fine, and that sitting out the rest of that game was just a precaution. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions. One minute we're thinking it's game over, the next there's hope on the horizon. Still, fans are on pins and needles. We don't have a definitive update on how bad Mitchell's injury really is. Will she be ready for the playoffs? Can she play at 100%? Or will the Fever have to rely even more on rookie sensation Caitlin Clark? Here's the thing, Mitchell and Clark together, they're like basketball's dynamic duo. They've been the 1-2 punch that's taken the Fever from underdogs to playoff contenders. But if Mitchell's not at her best, it puts a lot more pressure on Clark's shoulders. Can the rookie handle it? We've seen her do some incredible things this season, but this could be her biggest challenge yet. But let's not count Mitchell out just yet. Basketball players are tough, and Mitchell's one of the tough even if she's not at full strength. Her presence on the court could be the spark the Fever need to keep their playoff dreams alive. All right, the Fever are heading into the playoffs, but they're about to face their toughest opponent yet. The Connecticut Sun have been giving Indiana nightmares all season, winning 3 out of 4 games. But here's the kicker. There's a wild card that could flip this whole series on its head. What is it? You won't believe what's coming. Let's break down this playoff schedule. It's a best-of-3 series and every game counts. Game 1 is in Connecticut, where the Sun have been nearly unbeatable. Then it's back to Indianapolis for Game 2. And if needed, Game 3. Talk about pressure. One slip-up, and it's season over. Now you might be thinking, the Fever don't stand a chance. But hold on a second. Remember Caitlin Clark? This rookie sensation has been tearing up the court, averaging 19.2 points per game and dishing out a league-leading 232 assists. She's not just good, she's changing the game. But here's where it gets tricky. The Sun aren't just any team. They've got a balanced scoring attack that's giving coaches nightmares. We're talking 6 players averaging double figures. It's like trying to stop a hydra. Cut off one head and 2 more pop up. So how do the Fever plan to tackle this Sun-sized problem? It all comes down to defense. I know what you're thinking. Didn't you say the Fever were ranked 11th in defensive rating? You're right. And that's the big question mark hanging over this series. Coach Christy Sides has been working overtime to patch up those defensive holes. She's been drilling the team on rotations, communication, and help defense. It's like she's trying to build a fortress in the middle of a hurricane, but here's where it gets interesting. While everyone's been focused on the Fever's defense, there's another factor that could turn this series upside down. Remember Kelsey Mitchell? She's been a scoring machine, averaging 24.9 points per game since the Olympic break. If she's healthy and ready to go, she could be the X factor that tips the scales in Indiana's favor. Think about it. Mitchell's not just any scorer. She's clutch. She ranks 3rd in the league for those nail-biting last-minute points. The Sun might have the numbers, but Mitchell's got that killer instinct. It's like having a secret weapon that only shows up when you need it most. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if Mitchell isn't 100%? That's where Clark comes in. This rookie has shown she can handle the pressure. She's not just scoring, she's making everyone around her better. It's like watching a chess master. always 3 moves ahead. But here's the real curveball. The Fever's biggest strength might be their underdog status. Nobody expects them to win. The Sun have been dominating all season, and on paper, they should blow Indiana out of the water. But that's the thing about sports. Sometimes the team with nothing to lose is the most dangerous. So here we are, folks. Caitlin Clark's rookie season has been a wild ride, and now we're at the biggest test yet. The Fever have gone from underdogs to playoff contenders, but there's a huge obstacle in their way: the Connecticut Sun. Remember Kelsey Mitchell's injury scare? Well, it looks like she might be okay, but we're still not 100% sure. Talk about keeping us on the edge of our seats. This playoff series isn't just a game, it's the next chapter in Clark and the Fever's incredible story. They've already defied the odds, but can they pull off the ultimate upset? Here's the million-dollar question. Will Caitlin Clark's rookie magic be enough to take down the Sun? Or will the Fever's Cinderella story come to an end? We're about to find out, and trust me, you don't want to miss this.